Namaskar and welcome to this exciting episode of Sattology, debunking mythology. Sattology means science of truth or study of truth. Opposite of that is mythology, which means science or study of fake lived imagination. At best, we try that all our shows are referenceable. So you can reference our shows and you can check out from books, textbooks, and you can give us feedback. At best, we do that. Few shows that we do are mostly based on analysts, so you can't do reference check because that's a perspective of some individual. I have very, very special guest today. So let us welcome him, His Holiness Swami Muktanand Puri. Welcome, Swamiji.
Yes, Shriram, thank you.
Yes, Shri. And Swamiji will be traveling to Russia shortly. So when you see the video, he'll be in Russia. So do connect with him over there too. The playlist will be sent to all of you. So Swamiji, one question I have comes out to be Siddhi and mantra Siddhi or Siddhi through mantra. One of the things now I've translated. One thing I learned from Patanjali is that the Siddhi portion starts coming in the Vibhuti Pad of Patanjali Yoga. In Krishna, in Bhagavad Gita, Siddhi is mentioned many places that you may attain success, but that is Paramam Gata. Attaining my place is, Krishna says, is Siddha Param Gata. So, from your perspective, how does the mantra and Siddhi connect with each other? Is it the object of the mantra or it's so please explain in detail so that people can know.
The term Siddhi is basically, it means perfection. So when, sadhus will speak, they will generally say, when they're cooking, for example, they will say, has the dal been perfected? Dal siddh hui ki nahi? That is the typical way in which sadhus will speak to each other. So, we as humans, we know very well that we are imperfect and we have this quest for perfection. And therefore, we use various tools to become perfected. So, mantra is a tool which is to take you to perfection, to self-realization, to enlightenment. And that is the crux of of any sadhana, actually. The idea is that your mind should become stable under your control. From the point of view of mantra siddhi, when we speak about mantra siddhi, one time I asked my Guruji about mantra siddhi, what he thought, what he called mantra siddhi. So he said that it is not like the devta will come and stand in front of you when you are doing each mantra has a devta, as I've already explained in one of the earlier topics. So it's not like the devta will come and stand during this time, and one will find that you are able to talk to him directly. But is that the power of the mantra will be with you and it will function. On the other hand, there are certain other people who are upasaks of Hanuman and other devtas, and some of them insist that no, the devta should come and almost stand right in front of you. That is the power of the mantra. But generally speaking, on the whole, from my own personal experience and whatever I have seen from others, what does happen is that the power of that mantra it starts manifesting, and that is where the siddhi appears. The thing to understand is that when we speak of siddhi, it has different connotations. For example, the meaning of siddhi in Yoga Sutras is different. The meaning of siddhi from the point of view of mantra is different. The point of view of Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, the siddhi there is different. From the point of view of Advaita Vedanta, their understanding is to understand and realize that you are Brahman himself or herself, whichever way you want to look at it itself, you can say. And so, therefore, their understanding of the siddhi is completely different. First, I'll start a little bit about the Devta. I remember an incident where there was this sadhu who was staying somewhere in the forest in MP. And at one point in time, he decided that he wanted to, he was staying in the forest without any comforts, and he got really annoyed with everything, and he was praying to Hanuman. And so one day he picked up a stick and started beating Hanumanji and said, I've been praying to you and you wasted my life. I have received nothing by praying to you. So, I have no comfort, nothing over here. The next day, it so happens a man appears in front of him and bows to him and says, Swamiji, please let me know what it is that you want. So he suddenly realizes that he made a grave mistake and starts crying. and goes to the particular murti, and there he starts, asking for forgiveness from Hanumanji. So the murti is a form, but the devta itself is a manifestation of the power of Brahm itself, which manifests in that form, because that is what you're praying to. So there, this is siddhi not only through mantra but through bhakti. In the Yoga Sutras, in the second pad, sadhana pad, they say that Svadhyaya ish devta samprayoga, which means that Svadhyaya means Svadhyaya brings the ish devta, the main devta you pray to, close to you. He connects you to the devta. So there, when this commentary is given by Vyas on Ved Vyas on this, he says that here it means the mantra, So people say, when we speak of the Yoga Sutras, where is the mantra in the Yoga Sutras? This is where the mantra is there in the Yoga Sutras, because the Swadhyaya here means, working with the mantra so that you can reach a certain level. From the point of view of a normal sadhak, when he starts doing the mantra, it is not like when you start doing the mantra, immediately the devta will come in front of you and stand in front of you, or you will even feel some connection with the devta straight away. This connection with the devta, it takes some time, it takes hard work, because when you sit and start doing the mantra regularly over a period of time, now typically, I think in one of the other topics when we had done on mantra, I have explained how the number of repetitions has a meaning. Say, for example, if there is a 10-syllable mantra, then the 10-syllable mantra has to be repeated at least 100,000 times per syllable, which means that in the given case, it becomes about 10 into 10 will be about, I think, 1 million or something. 1 million, right? So 1 million times is the repetition. Then again, part of that is 10% is Havan, 10% Tarpan, Brahman Bhojan, and then margin and Brahman Bhojan. So finally, it works out to, let's say, 11% at least, 12% actually, around 12%. 12% of the, so it's actually 100 and, say if you take a mantra, it means it becomes 120% of that, meaning actually, if you say one akshar is 1 lakh, then it will become 10 lakh. So basically, it will become 12 lakh. That is the this thing. One lakh is 100,000. So it's 120 times the original this thing which is being done. So when this number is done, after that, during the time when you start doing that upasana, there will come a stage when the form of that devta will become visible. Some other signs will start manifesting. So one will see all kinds of signs which are manifesting. They are usually connected to willpower, to the fulfillment of desires. Say, if you have something is there in your mind, one will find that these desires, these things are being done. One will find that in the world, people are respecting you. They feel that they feel some energy emanating from you. They feel a certain presence there. There's a particular field of energy which is over there. So one of the things clearly is when you're doing sadhana, during the sadhana at some time, the feeling of some force or some power will start appearing. Image of that particular devta who you're praying to will start appearing. You might find that when you're sleeping in your dreams, the devta might appear, or some power will appear and tell you so and so thing is going to happen, and something is going on like that. Then there is a certain continuity of that power which is there, there, because the mantra, it is passed on from the lineage. So when the mantra gets passed on, the power of the lineage is along with you, and the blessings of the lineage is there. So this lineage and the devta along with that is also active. And then slowly this one finds and one feels that the devta is showing up. Then there is this in India, in bhakti we say bhava. There is this bhava or emotions. So this emotion is there where when you're praying to that particular devta, your connection becomes with the devta. So the qualities of the devta become imbibed by you, and you will find certain change in your behavior. Say, for example, when one is doing prayer of Hanuman, certain strength, power will appear all of a sudden in the person. He will feel that power appearing, and he will feel the strength of the devta. The fear will be gone. It's gone because Hanuman is a warrior. So warrior-like activity will appear. On the other hand, if you are doing upasana of Lakshmi, So you will find that there is a more delicate temperament or a feeling of relaxation, calmness, joy. So generally speaking, when we speak of mantra, there are different things which are there. There's this Ashtasiddhi which is spoken about. It is, I think, in the sutras. They have indirectly or directly mentioned that we speak of these eight siddhis which are anima. Anima is the ability of the person to shrink their body. Then mahima is to make it gigantic. Then garima and lagima is to increase the weight and decrease the weight respectively. Then the fifth is prapti. So the remaining four of them are the most interesting ones. Prapti is when there is a fulfillment of desire. So when you're starting to do the mantra, people keep saying that, oh, these siddhis are, you should not sort of use the siddhis or want the siddhis or desire the siddhis and all that. But my personal opinion of the matter is that it's like a benchmark. So it says that this is where it sort of brings you to a point and says this is the level at which you are. Because when you're doing your sadhana, at that point in time, your desires are getting fulfilled automatically. Automatically a lot of things will start happening. So this is a sign that the actual sadhana which you're doing, something is happening, there is some fruition. You will find that whatever desire is coming into your mind, these desires are getting done, and people around you are, they are kind of respecting you, they are accepting you, and wherever you go, there is a certain feeling of welcome, which is what you feel. Of course, on the other hand, when there is a certain power, there are certain other powers which don't like you, and they will certainly, dislike your appearing there. So there will be a certain amount of, we should say, resistance also at certain times. And this is also one of the natural manifestations. But eventually, you work your way through this, and it reaches a point where opposition becomes relatively reduced, and acceptance becomes much larger. So this is one of the interesting things about this. Then there's prakamya. Prakamya is the particular ability. It's more than ability actually. Is the ability where one can increase their lifespan. As in sannyasis and as spiritual people, we generally have a saying that the time you spend in doing your prayer, your meditation, your jap, this is the time by which your life will increase, because it's a good deed. So it has the power of increasing your lifespan. So the more you put into doing your prayer, the larger your lifespan becomes. Secondly, for those people who receive complete perfection, one finds that they are able to teleport themselves to any spot because they have this anima, mahima siddhis. So they will reduce their size and go in the air, and one can read. There was a particular Baba by the name of Gand Baba who was very well known. His name was Swami Vishweshwaranand or Vishwatmanand. I am not very clear right now, but he is very well known sadhu. He is Swami Yogananda Paramahansa has mentioned him in his book, and he has a ashram in Banaras, which is they speak of they speak of this particular asan where they have a Panchmundi asan, which is what Trimundi or Panchmundi asan. I don't remember which one is there. It may be a Sapmundi asan also, which is a special seat which he had prepared, where he used to sit and pray. And even today, not everybody is allowed to sit over there. So it is said of him that he would sometimes they would see him. He would be someone who, maybe once in a while or something, someone saw him accidentally when he was coming back or going. He would reduce his size and disappear. Would use the air passage to travel to visit his masters and other people. Similarly, the ability to live underwater and all these appear. But these are the yogic siddhis which are given actually over there. Then there is this ability called Ishitva. Ishitva is the ability where you can control nature. It is often said there was a very well-known Swami by the name of Swami Ram of the Himalayas who was there in the US also. And I have met a numerous number of his disciples. I remember that one time we had gone to visit a temple and we had some of the disciples over there with him. And they told me how at that time in front of their eyes, it was raining very heavily. And when they wanted to go back, it was, pouring so badly that there was no question of going. And Swamiji stepped out into the rain and said, oh, come on. And at that time, the rain stopped completely. It was raining all around them, but when they walked down, it was not raining where they were walking, So they walked down with rain all around them, but not raining on them. And they came to the car, sat down in the car, and went away. Many such incidences have been reported, even in the case of Neem Karoli Baba. You may have heard that it is said of him that he stopped the train. He was insulted and removed from the train, and then he wanted to travel, and so the train was stopped, and then finally they apologized and asked him back into the train and stuff like that. So these are basically a lot of people question this and say, oh, but why did he do that and all that? But basically, what is happening is that it's a grace of the sadhus, because they show that this power is obtainable, and it is not something that you cannot reach this power. You can have this power, and therefore sometimes there is a small demonstration of this power to basically make people realize that this is all for real and you can really get there. So this is one of the things there. The last is called Vashitva. Vashitva is control of over the mind, control of the mind of not only oneself, but of others also, as well as animals also. So one will see in the olden rishis, this animals would come to visit them and all that. And it's not just in India. Even if one goes into other cultures, across cultures, one will find that there were many spiritual people, masters, monks in various traditions who were sitting or living in the forest. They were meditating or praying there, and animals would come there. They would calm down. They would not hurt them. In the same way, humans would come, and many times they would face some very violent people like dacoits or other such pirates or other such people. And one would find that when they were face to face with them, these people would never harm them, and they would actually calm down and come under their control, kind of. So this is one of the other things about this which is very important over here. These are the Ashtsiddhis which are there. From the point of view of the sadhak, when we speak about a spiritual practitioner, there are certain things which appear in the sadhak, which as qualities. So one of the things one will find is that usually these good sadhaks, the food intake becomes lower. They start eating much lesser. And secondly, one will observe that these sadhaks, they sleep very little. They don't sleep so much. There is a lot of confusion about the mantra. I had explained this, I think, earlier also. Normally, when you start doing the mantra continuously, especially the mantra must be received from a person, from a teacher, from a student, from a guru who is from that tradition. So he is a student of a siddha, and he was a student of another siddha. So the lineage is going. So the shishya should receive it from a guru who himself has received it from a tradition and who is passing it on to him from a genuine tradition. So then there is a passing on of a certain energy which occurs. It's like a physical transfer almost, which I've explained earlier in many of my lectures. And when this passing of energy happens, and when they start doing the mantra, then there is a connection with the lineage, as well as there is a fruition of the mantra eventually when they practice. So when this is happening, at that a certain stage comes when the person will find that they have no interest in, not very little interest in food. They have very little sleep. And when one is doing the mantra regularly, because this is a live mantra, so for 4 hours, if you are doing the mantra, then it becomes automatic. So whether you want to do it or you don't want to do it, it will start functioning and it will keep running. And so many people are saying that one of the signs of the mantra of mantra siddhi is the mantra become automatic. But the mantra will become automatic even if you receive it from very good lineage. If you don't practice it, if you don't put in at least 4-5 hours every day, it will never become automatic. So for it to become automatic, you have to keep doing it continuously, and then it comes to a stage when you will feel that somebody sitting in some other power sitting inside you. And in fact, in Buddhism, it is considered as a very excuse me, as a very, very good sign, or a sign at a certain level or standard that you've reached a certain level as a benchmark where you are the mantra is repeating itself automatically. And this is one of the signs of somebody who has reached a certain level of maturity. So, but the thing is that when the mantra keeps working continuously, that also kind of it creates a kind of psychoactivity, and a lot of things will keep happening inside you, including the churning of emotions and all that. So it's not something which is for everybody. It's something which should be developed slowly, and one has to work to reach that particular level. So that is one of the other things which is very important. There's also a huge level of detachment of vairagya. one doesn't feel connected to, anything as such. On one hand, there is a complete vairagya, where there is a lack of desire, one can say, or a lack of, it's like kind of watching the world like a dream. That's the best way to put it. On the other side, there is a connection with everything also at the same time, because you realize that this is your Brahm. So this whole feeling of this whole world is a reflection of me is also there. So it's both. It's very interesting. It's both at the same time. Then one of the interesting things is Vak Siddhi. This was very interesting. I used to be with Swami Harirananda Bharti Ji Maharaj, and he had this Vak Siddhi. It was very interesting. He would like to joke, and he would often joke and say things, as a joke. He would say something, and then I would remind him and tell him, Swami, please don't joke like this. This will really happen. And then he would say, okay, I'm sorry. And then he would cancel it. And so this was one of the things. And one of the interesting things that happened, I remember, was we were living in the Himalayas, and he wanted to open a center, and there he wanted to put up computers and teach people the internet and all that. And at that time, this was very long back, almost around, I think, 17, 18 years at least back, if not more. At that time, there was no internet during that place. And then I was trying to do something, and I said that let me go to the village to use the internet. And I was told that the phone connections and internet are not there. And so I was like, how did Swamiji say he will do this? And it was very interesting that by the time the center was completed, the construction was completed, and the computers came. By that time, the village actually had that the telecommunication system in place, so that the network started working. It may not have been the best system in the world, but the network was working anyway. It was up and running, and the internet was there. So this was not one experience. This was an experience many times. The other thing is what I said, Manokamna Siddhi. When you have some wish in your mind, that wish gets fulfilled over there completely. The other thing I observed about these many of these siddhas is they always know what is going on in your mind often. That is reflected often. They will feel that. With Palare Baba, for example, I have seen numerous times that happens, that I'm sitting and I start to feel hungry. And the moment I start to feel hungry, he will say, oh, Swami is hungry, and he will get up and give me some fruits, and straight away he will get up and give me the fruits. It's very, very interesting how this happens, and I've seen this happening numerous times. I remember one time it was particularly very, very interesting. What happened was that in the kitchen we had some new boys who came in, and they had no idea of how to use the pressure cooker. And so once the pressure cooker was on, they completely boiled the dal, and after that they wanted to open it. They didn't realize that they must keep it. So what they did was they went and started pouring cold water on the pressure cooker, and that normally creates a possibility of an explosion, because there's a sudden cooling, and because of that the pressure cooker crumples, and then eventually it can crumple and kind of explode. So in the meantime, I see suddenly Swami is running down, and he walks up and stops those people and says, what are you doing? Don't do this. Kindly stop doing this. And then he comes back and says, they were trying to pour cold water on the pressure cooker. So it was very interesting how we came to know. I've seen this also happening in the Gaushala, where the cows are there, and suddenly if some cow is, something is going wrong, he will come running and, kind of go into the Gaushala and remove the cow from there. And this has happened numerous times. So this is one of the other things which is very visible with them. Other thing is that they become givers. They are always giving people stuff, somehow there's a lot of this, because they have this material fulfillment. So everything is coming to them continuously, and this is being passed on to everybody else. They're giving all this stuff to everybody. They're blessing everybody. A lot of people are coming in asking for things, saying kindly bless us for this particular work or this or that or whatever. And those things are getting fulfilled. The next thing is called Samdishti. Samdishti means that it's actually, there are three words, Samta, Samdishti, and Samatva. So here they have, it's a equanimity of mind is there. The person is always relatively is in a calm stage. Somewhere they may be a pretense of anger. Somewhere one may feel that they are angry, but actually when they will get angry with somebody, and then they'll come down, and after that they're completely calm again, and that anger is gone. It's like a flash, because the reason is that there's an emotional purification which has already taken place, which is a long process. So because this emotional purification has totally taken place, so this anger, it has no emotion to hang on to. So it doesn't hang on for very long. It comes up like a flash, and it goes equally. And then after some time, they've forgiven the person, and everything is forgotten, and they just simply go on with it. In Samdishti, what will happen typically is, like, for example, I will see this with the Falari Baba also. He will have a very, very important man who will come to visit him. So many times, if another sadhu or sannyasi will turn up there, or somebody else will turn up, he will leave that important person, in the sense he will start paying attention to the sannyasi straight away, because the sannyasi for him has more importance. But apart from that, if there is a normal person, it does not matter to him if the person is important or unimportant. He will look at the people, because there is this feeling of vairagya. So because of the vairagya, the feeling that XYZ is more important than the others is not there. When he sees a sannyasi, the feeling is that another form of God has come to me. So there it's a different feeling. But when he sees people, whether it's a poor man or a rich man, whether it's somebody who's got a high status or a low status, there is completely no particular reaction, because this man is from a high status. So he will give him respect as a human being, but it does not really matter to him whether this person is rich or he's poor, or he's got a status or he doesn't have a status. He sees them with the same this thing. So, and then again, on the other side of it is the indifference to honor and insult. So if somebody says something nasty to them, they really don't care about it. In the same way, if somebody gives them too much honor, they don't really care about the honor also. They look upon them as pretty much the same. There's also this other aspect where this person is usually in bliss. They are not miserable. Mostly they are not miserable. Even in a very miserable circumstance, you will find that he is in his own frame of mind and, in some kind of bliss. He is unconcerned about what is really going on around him. So this is one of the other interesting things. And then there is this aspect of love and wisdom. When somebody comes to them, they have this ability to, express affection, love, and you feel warmth emanating from them, which is very interesting, which is very, very, which is, completely, even an animal can feel that. Never mind a human being, even a simple animal can feel that. And they are wise. They are able to very quickly analyze and catch things. A lot of spiritual people, if you give them my Guruji, this is interesting. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but with my Guruji, he was very strict. If he would give me something he would say something, and if you didn't catch it, then he wouldn't repeat it again. It was like, I've said this: if you're intelligent, if you're smart, if you're able, if you have the ability and you have the you're qualified, the qualification, then you must understand what is being said in one go. If you don't understand it in one go, that means you're not qualified. And once you understand it in one go, then after that, what happens is that this thing should be opened like a bamboo. It's like when you split a bamboo, it's put, the whole bamboo will go from one end to the other end. So in that way, when one small thing is given to you in your hand, and you must unravel the whole puzzle straight away. So this is one of the other qualities of these people. When something is happening, they are able to unravel this particular thing, this particular puzzle, this particular question, this riddle, or this mystery, or whatever is going on very fast. They are very quickly able to decipher what is going on. That is one of the other abilities which one finds with the siddhas. From the aspect of a normal person, when you go near a siddh person or a good sadhak, there is always a field of energy around him. It's like a cloud, all around the person. So even where he's staying, where he's doing his practice, in that area, you will be able to feel a certain energy if you're sensitive to energy. If you come close, you will again feel a certain amount of energy. And often, one of the other things about the siddhs is that they are able to hide it all, which means that if there is a certain place where they are staying continuously and doing the sadhana, then in that place this energy will be felt. But when they travel or when they are moving around, they will be able to hide this energy and you will not be able to feel it. So one of the things that they do is the field of energy is spread. It's spread out over a long distance. So the intensity of it is reduced. Of course, there are two different fields of energies. One is a high intensity field, which can be felt, and another is a low intensity but long field. So these siddhas have a way of creating these fields around them, and they hide their energy so that the normal person is not able to feel this. As far as the practice of mantra and mantra siddhi goes, there one must regularly do the mantra. The regularity of the mantra and the practice of the mantra is the regular practice of the mantra is the only thing that will eventually take you to perfection. So therefore, abhyasa varagyabam tan nirodha, without abhyasa or vairagya, you cannot reach the stage of nirodha, which is of yoga, basically. So abhyas is the main key point over here. Without the abhyas, one doesn't get there. So you must regularly, abhyas is practice. So you must regularly practice. You must do your practice regularly so that you can get to that level of siddhi.
Thank you very much, Maharaj, for sharing this. One question comes in, like when we hear from people that whenever they mention siddhi, some people comment that these are, in the Western world, they say these are satanic and these are not real. Some people say, I have witnessed it myself, some of the siddhis, because when I used to go to the Kashi, and if you will see many yogis entering from one side of Ganga, and you'll never see them swimming, and they're outside and immediately on the other side. And I witnessed it in Kumbh Mela also. Some of the yogis over there. So these are very real for people who can see them. So how is that people, should people be interested in siddhi or not?
So one is, I remember a very funny incident. I used to have this very nice, smart young Russian lady who used to come to me. She was young. She was working for a very good firm and highly paid. And she would say that, I do some skydiving and I go for skiing and I do extreme sports. And there I can feel this energy. But how is it possible that one does this mantra and from there this energy is generated? So one of the reasons she stopped practicing was because she was not able to figure out how the mantra can generate energy. This was very funny, very, very funny and strange incident, which was so. I think a lot of Westerners are very strange people sometimes. As far as being satanic goes, if you are satanic, you will do satanic things. Your actions will say that you are satanic, because what you will do is that you will use destructive power. We see a lot of world leaders today who are in destructive mode. There are a lot of world leaders who create problems for in other parts of the world, and these problems in turn will, there's a series of events which start off. From one side, you have one person doing one thing, creating a conspiracy, then he does something, then he does some, that leads to something else, that leads to something else, that leads to a change of events, a chain of events, and these are negative events. So this chain, the person who is starting this, that is satanic. Satanic is not having a power. Satanic is a misuse of a power. When you reach a certain stage, that is why when you had a person like Hitler, Hitler was a person who used his power in a satanic way. Why it was used in a satanic way? Because he was not enlightened. He was not working for self-realization. He was not able to purify his internal being, in Antakarana. It was not purified. And therefore, because of this lack of purification, there was a desire for something. Whereas if you see this in here, I talk about how they don't have a desire, how these sins do not have a desire. They don't really desire anything. If they have some small desire appears in their mind, then that gets fulfilled. And that is normally for the benefit of the world. They themselves don't desire anything. So therefore, this satanic aspect is rather funny. It's a very funny understanding people have. And the difference between a self-realized or a liberated person or an enlightened person, or we should say a spiritual master or a person on the spiritual path, is that he doesn't want to control others. He doesn't want to take any benefit out of them. He wants to give them in turn. He doesn't really want to take something from others. So because he has this wish to give other people, which is why in India we talk about tyag, vairagya and tyag. Tyag means sacrifice in the sense of giving. So it is giving which is got the quality of siddha, not the quality of being able to take or control in the sense of controlling for some negative purposes. And that negative uses technique. Whereas if the control is for a positive use, if you come into the world and you have a positive mind and the power which you have is used for something positive, it's not used for your personal benefit, then you can only be called divine.
Thank you for clarifying that, because this is a question just coming very beautifully. You put it out. And also for viewers, to congratulate the viewers that Thailand, Nepal, India are Thailand is officially like they are proclaiming to be a Hindu country and not a Buddhist one. And so we have few more places where people are going for yoga, Ayurveda, which is Thailand. So congratulations. This information is not verified, but it has been sent to me on a message just now. I'm just sharing. They wanted me to share, some of the students here. And the so one of the things which I would like to just briefly say is that connect with Swamiji's playlist on our channel, and I'm going to send you the link very shortly after this session, and you can watch that playlist where all the Swamiji's lectures are together on Sattology. So thank you so much, Swamiji, for coming on the show, and I know you're very busy, you're about to travel, and very grateful to you for coming on the show, and thank you for all the viewers for listening patiently. Namaskar. Jai Shri Ram.
Yeah, sure.